And welcome to another episode of Cognitive Cuisine. I am your host, WIZE.
And I am Yayoi of Brain to Belly.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about digital detox. So, Yayoi, when you hear the phrase digital detox, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
My cell phone. It's something that I am constantly, I have this with me all the time. The only time I don't have it is probably when I go to the bathroom, right? Sorry, but that's the only time I don't have it. Um, so that, yeah, it's to kind of like it's a codependency almost. So I need that is the first thing that pops into my head. Also, visual detox could also mean, when you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix, when you're playing your games, all of that. And sometimes it's just important to get away from all of that and just spend even like 10 minutes just to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You need sometimes to unplug and so like you recently went away on a retreat. How was that for you? Like how was that for you to be disconnected and not really be
Yeah,
as you would be when you would be home. So I know it was a different experience. So how was that?
it's actually very good. It was much needed. And it was good because it helped me to reframe who I was and to to connect deeply to who I am and to maybe nature because I was in nature. Um, and to really kind of step out of yourself and look at yourself from another viewpoint. Um, I've been having lots of experiences since that retreat where I've been having to see myself in a different light.
Mm,
And I think that's a lot of the detox as well. But it's also about realizing about the human connections that are there. And it's not just, yes, this is, like Zoom is great because you could connect with different people that you never had a chance to connect with. But sometimes you need to just connect with yourself.
absolutely. No, that's why sometimes it's very necessary for you to unplug. It's like this. Like I try to not Saturdays and Sundays. I try not to check my emails or I try not to get online or anything because I need. I'm on here so much during the week
Yes,
that you need to get disconnected. You need that time where you need to go out and get some fresh air and go like go on trips. Take those retreats, take those moments to unplug and unwind and go back to just having fun and refinding yourself and enjoying life again.
yeah. And it's funny because it does really, they say that when you want to change something, to change, get out of that environment that you want to change, right? And
Hmm.
put yourself in a different environment. And when you do that, it physically and psychologically, it puts you in a different place so that you're open to more things. You're open to trying different things, even experiencing different things. And that helps you to see things from a different perspective.
Yeah, it does.
And it's so important because I just recently had somebody point something out to me about my personality that I was doing unconsciously that I didn't even notice.
Do you mind sharing what it was?
Yes, I know. I was like, yeah. I was told that I interrupt people when they're thinking and they're talking. And I was like, oh,
I don't think that's true though, because we do our shows and we flow pretty well. So I don't think you interrupt my thoughts. If anything, you help me get, get some ideas, but I don't think you interrupt me.
well, so I realized what that was. For certain people, it feels like interrupting when like we banter, right? We have a flow and we have that chemistry where we're like you say something and then we kind of bounce off of each other's thoughts, right? But with some people, it doesn't happen like that. So I realized that with some people, I have to be very quiet, let them speak their piece, their ideas, not say a word, and let them do that, and then come back with an answer. So it's like it gave me a different perspective. I'm like, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way. And I realized that, everyone isn't like me, right? Of
Okay.
course. So there are some people out there that will be angered by that. And I was like, I can see that, or not angered, but just, it would be irritating for them, annoying for them.
I guess it. I guess it would. I guess it would be annoying to certain people. Yeah, but but they shouldn't. People shouldn't say assume that that's how you always are because, like you said, our conversations flow so much more naturally. So it to someone else, it doesn't seem that way. So
Right.
just because from their perspective it looks that way that you don't let people talk or you interrupt people. But again, it's because you also communicate with people that you kind of flow with. Like the people you kind of communicate the most with are the people the ones you kind of connect and flow with the most. So that's my understanding from it.
Yeah. And that's how I understood it as well after I got over the initial shock. Because I was like, what? That wasn't my intention at all, right? But I can see that because certain people, I've had an experience where I was, in a group coaching session, and one person came up to me after the session, and she said, I feel like you were slighting me. You weren't giving, you always cut me off." And I was like, that was not my intention. I always felt like I was giving you space, but if you felt that way, I'm really sorry. And this reminded me of that. And that was maybe, I don't know, like maybe more than 6 months ago, right? And I've only had that once. And then this happened today, not today, but this past week. And I was like, okay, so there are people out there that communicate in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, there is. There can be a way, yeah, because and my wife is a prime example of this, right? Because I know how she means it, but other people perceive it, even because it took me time to realize in that she doesn't mean it in this certain way. It just comes off that way.
Yep,
And so when she's telling people things, it might seem that she's being mean or whatever it is. But for her, it's just she likes when she explains things, she likes to be thorough. And when she feels like she's explained it to you well enough that you should get it and understand what she means. So yeah, I get it. Yeah.
yeah. So, but it was a good lesson in remembering that there are people out there that aren't like me, right?
You're not gonna you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea.
Yes,
And
yes,
I'm not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. It's just everyone's not gonna gravitate to what we do because it's just not for them. And
exactly.
I understand that. I understand that, Core. I definitely know that there's not everyone who's gonna enjoy what we do or whatever I do or whatever content you. It's then that's fine, and
Yeah,
I'm good with that. I don't. I know who I need, who my audience is, who the people are I want to help, and those people know who they are,
yep,
and so I'm good with that.
yep. And I mean, that's what I've realized, but it was a real eye opener for me to realize, oh, I forgot that there are people that think differently from me and that are not going to resonate with me. And that's okay. But, it was interesting. So we kind of got off the topic of detoxing, but
It's all related, and
related, yeah.
so
Yeah, so it was interesting because it was also an audio call. It was just a no visual. So this is my assumption and my hallucination was that I said, okay, you know, yes, right, periodically, and that disrupted their flow. So I can understand that, and I was like, okay, so if it's visual, well, that's for them. So that's that person's way of communicating. So I got that, and it was a real eye opener for me. So I'm like, wow, you know, this is a good lesson.
so do you think now that you're gonna try to see what kind of whenever you speak with anyone, do you think you're gonna be is that gonna be in the back of your mind? Like, am I interrupting people too much, or is it something that you like?
I think it would be like people, that I've already built a relationship with. I
Yeah,
think that's, I'm not going to worry about that. But if it's someone new, I will be a little more cautious,
just you'll be a little bit more self conscious about it. You're like, am I interrupting them too much? So yeah, I get it.
be more aware
Hmm.
of how that other person is feeling or get a sense of that person's reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I feel that. I
yeah.
get that. That's understandable.
Yeah. And, sometimes we forget. So I thought, okay, it's just, it was a good sign for me to become more aware of that and aware of how I present myself to others.
So, how did you feel personally, like how your energy wise when you went away on that retreat and you were away from being in the digital world, or because it was more of more of the retreat was
Nature.
more to find of nature and finding yourself. So
Yeah.
how was that feeling for you?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I didn't even open my laptop once.
That's good.
I mean, for me, not to open it once because it's always up, right, and open. And even my phone, um, I wasn't looking at it, as much. I mean, I would carry it around with me only because, if there's an emergency or something. But it wasn't like I was looking at it or checking emails or anything like that. So my emails piled up, of course. Um, but having that detox really did help me to connect more with nature, connect more with my fellow, the other people that were at the retreat, the
Yeah.
human connection. And yeah, it was, and I think the vibrations and the energies are different when you're in that situation.
And that's something I've thought about is like, how would it be if I can get a bunch of 6, 7, 8 content creators together, and we go away on a retreat and we just focus on creating content together, collaborating, networking. Just that whole weekend, it's built towards gearing you towards that because that's something that's very key.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, how could I get that going? And so it's just because after speaking with you, it was like, damn, there's something that would really be interesting to me is to get a place, get an Airbnb, and get a bunch of my content creator friends together, and let's collaborate and just spend that whatever 3 or 4 days just creating content and 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 networking and building and learning how to work together. And because I think that's something that's very important as
It is.
podcasters and content creators and coaches and entrepreneurs, is to be able to network and connect with other people and build these relationships. So that's something I was like, maybe I'm gonna reach out to some of my podcasting friends and some of my content creators and see w- what would be what kind of retreat would interest them.
Yeah, I think, of course, doing, having sessions, a little structure, definitely. But for me, like the morning meditations and morning time when I was just to be alone was so great. I think I told you it was kind of like an elevated treehouse. So we had like different levels, and there were different porches, and the porches were big enough that, two people could be on the porch and they could just look
Oh,
out and
yeah.
have their own space, right? And having that space and connecting with nature, because for me, connecting with nature is always a way for me to recharge, also to calm myself, to ground myself. And so it really, being in that environment and just looking out at the lake, looking out at the forest, seeing the birds, the deer, all of that. Um, it felt, it made me, it helped me to feel that connection with the earth, with nature, with what's out there, right? And so it got rid of all the things that were like circulating in my head and really just connecting with who I am, what my thoughts were, what my connection with the world, with, you know, the earth was, right? And it helped me to open up like quite a few insights into like brain to belly. And um, it was really to shared it with people that it's really not about the food that's going to, the food is part of it, but it's really about your mindset and the way you feel about yourself that's connected to the food. And it's sad that, food has become that band-aid that a lot of us put on different things to not feel the hurt or not deal with situations. And it's really to get that, to change that. And, Brain to Belly is really about that. So it really became clear to me when I was journaling and, in that kind of an environment.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's definitely important for you to. I know earlier this year when I was off and I didn't really, I was after surgery and everything, and I didn't really
Hmm.
content create and everything. But it was just like, okay, I got to recharge a little, get like not burn myself out and not know that I don't have to rush and get a show off and it actually let me just sit down and focus on other things and get other
Hmm.
things done and like, okay, I could work on this and I could do this. Just I'm home and I'm not doing any shows and so I was able to focus on creating other things like the books and other projects and so it's sometimes it's important for you to unplug and get away from all the digital content and watching Netflix and chill and whatever it is that you do. Sometimes you just need to just go outside and get some fresh air.
Yeah. It's so true. I mean, it's really just getting out of your norm.
Mhm.
And our norm these days is being plugged into everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the norm of this society right now.
Crazy because there's a couple of times that I've left my phone home, right? And I'm at work and I don't have my phone, but it's like I'm free. Everyone, I'm looking at everyone else. Everyone else, when I go to the EDR or whatever, they're in their phones, just looking at their phones, and you look all over the everywhere, and that's everyone. That's everyone. There's
Yep.
no one having conversations and anything. So those days when I don't have my phone, it's just like you're unplugged from the matrix and you see everything.
Yes. Yes.
And you notice like, oh man, this really sucks. Like everyone is really into their phone. There's no
Yeah.
conversations being had.
Yeah. I noticed that when I was at the airport waiting for my flight, and I was like, I was like, oh, I don't need to check my phone for anything, right? Because I was already at the gate and I didn't need to look at it for anything except for my boarding pass, right? That's it. So I wasn't looking at my phone or anything. And I think my battery was low. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to look at it. So I just stopped looking at it. And I was just looking out at the people and everyone. I think there were maybe a group of people that were just talking to themselves, because it was just a group that were traveling together. But other than that, everyone was this.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously?
And that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you only realize it when you're not plugged in. When you're not
Yeah.
plugged in, that's when you really realize it and you're looking like, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, because even when you go to restaurants nowadays, everyone has their phone out. So
Yeah.
I try when I go out with the wife, I try to say like, "Nah, let's just put the phones down. I'll keep my phone down. You keep your phone down. Let's talk, whatever, eat."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this like it's ridiculous how people just are. The screen has to be in front of their face.
Yeah. And when you think about it, if you're like having dinner with somebody, or you're going to have coffee with somebody, that time is reserved for you to spend with that person, right? And when you bring this in, your phone in, you're bringing in another stranger into the whole dynamic. And when you think about that, that's really like rude. That's like inviting someone, a stranger, over to your coffee session, right? When you think about that, it's like, wow, like I would be appalled if somebody did that to me right?
Yeah,
Or if it was just to introduce somebody, that's a different story. But like being in our conversation when they're not really invited,
yeah.
yeah.
This is gonna be all completely off topic because so you remember last year that we had the event in Pittsburgh that I was hosting and you
Mm-hmm.
were a part of it and
Yeah.
everything. We're looking for shows again, so of course that I think that would be a great place to help launch your new podcast.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So I'm thinking maybe we can get you on and do an episode of the new show on there and
Okay.
help launch it through that as well.
Okay.
What do you think? All right, 'cause
Yeah.
I need to get you on the slate. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll get you. I'll tell you the dates and the times, and we'll see what day works out for you, and we'll get you on the slate.
Yep. Let me know what the dates are because I'm
Uh,
traveling in October.
No, it's the end of September.
September.
It's
Okay.
the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not my birthday, I'm good.
No. It's the end of September.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weekend. It's
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday, and so
Okay.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. I can do that. That would be cool. That would be really cool.
yeah.
And yeah, it, it's something I want to do. And I have a voice. I have a mission, right? And I'm very passionate about it. And I want to get as many people to hear what I want to say and to get to that feeling of freedom
Yeah.
from eating, from that emotional eating, and from,
And it just won't be with eating because, like you said, it's all a mindset, right? So when you work on that part of on your mindset, it affects it affects your eating, and because then you're
every part.
focusing more on a much healthier you. So
Yes,
that entails eating and exercising and doing. So when you shift your mindset in one area, it kind of affects everything else in general.
exactly.
Because then you're like, okay, I need to really start focusing on how I'm taking care of my body and
Yeah,
what I'm putting into my body and exercise and so yeah, so it's definitely what you're doing. Yes, you talk about your foods, but what you focus on is changing someone's mindset,
yeah,
and so it's not just food that you can help people out with. You can help them out with a lot of different things. So
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, the food is important in some ways,
this,
but
this,
it's more of a byproduct, right?
mhm,
Because to me, it's how we think about ourselves, and that's when we feel bad
eating.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, that it's the emotional eating, right? It's like I used to turn to food all the time when I was angry, lonely. um yeah, it was comfort. It was also a way to abuse my body. It's a twisted mindset
Mhm.
saying, screw this, who cares about this body that I'm in? I'm just gonna mess it up. And food was the thing that I used to abuse it. And it's so easy to do because it's something that, we need to nourish ourselves, nourish our bodies.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us don't realize, and society doesn't teach us the importance of nutrition and how to nourish our bodies with real food. Yeah, so that's a totally different subject, but yeah.
Absolutely. So, why do you think it's hard for creators and entrepreneurs to step away from the screen?
Because I think for us, our products are launched onto the screen, right? That's our way of communicating in a way. So, but I think it's also like a security blanket for a lot of us. I know for me, carrying this phone has been a security blanket for me for a long time. And I remember, like when I was in the corporate world, of course, I had two phones, right? A personal phone and a work phone. So I was constantly looking at both, and more of the work phone than the personal phone.
Yeah,
And, just being tied to those things, you, you lose out on who you are. So I think it's just intention. You need to create that intention to block yourself from everything for just a little bit. And it's hard because it's part of our lives. It's, a big chunk of our lives, right? But detaching for even 30 minutes a day, or even if you can't do 30, even 10 minutes, right? To detach and just be with yourself, it'll help you to see inside of who you are. It's like a gift that you're giving yourself to reconnect with you.
yeah. That's something I'm doing personally, right? Is because I just released I was just started releasing a newsletter on LinkedIn, right? And what I'm doing is I think I have the next 6 issues already in place, like just scheduled, so I
Yep,
don't have to worry about it. Like I just batched
yep,
the whole thing and just created each newsletter and then just schedule them, and that's helped me, and that's something I'm realizing I to make it easier for me. Even now, like today, I need to take the time out and get all the studios and all the information I need for my next week recordings for my shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today is the day that I need to sit down and get all that out of the way, right? So I don't have to spend so much time online. Just do it all at one time.
yep,
And now I save time not having to do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, to doing that last minute, getting the studios ready for that day. Now I have them a week in advance. Now it also helps me. It also helps me with promoting the shows next week. Now I'm telling my audience a week in advance, like, hey, this is what next week's shows are going to be about. These are the guests that I'm having on. Come check it out. So in a way, it's beneficial and it works because now it's promoting the show a week in advance, and now or a few days in advance, and now is giving the audience, all right, oh, let me how to check this episode out. This certain content that I want to check out. So, yeah, and again, and it saves me time now. I don't have to rush on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get these shows ready.
yeah. It's efficiency,
Hmm.
right? And it's giving yourself time for you,
Yeah,
because we're, in this digital world that we're in, we're like all our schedules. If you look at our schedules, even if you don't write it out, it's pretty packed from the moment you wake up, right? To the moment you sleep. You have things scheduled in that you're going to be doing. And I think it just makes sense to consciously detach for even 5 minutes so that you can be with you.
yeah,
Who are you without all of this?
yeah,
Right? I mean, the retreat was like a great place for me to really look at that. Who am I? And that's probably why these realizations come up, like, like the incident about the interrupting, and different things and different viewpoints about yourself.
yeah.
I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have that retreat to kind of like refocus on myself.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, yesterday I had a wonderful guest. I had a great conversation with her, And this is kind of going against what we're talking about because, but it's geared towards and building up your confidence and boosting you up, right? Because she said not only about building your own stage, so starting your own webinars and everything. She says, okay, if speaking is something you want to work on, do a live TikTok or Instagram, 2 minutes, even if it's 2 minutes for the next 30 days. Challenge yourself, do it for at least 2 minutes for 30 days, and watch the improvement. Because now if you're getting more confident with speaking and you're doing it live, and of course you're going to start off with zero, but probably by the end of the 30 days, your audience is probably grown because now they're catching you every 2 days and they're seeing the growth and they're experiencing. So this is something I'm like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna challenge myself now. I don't whether it be TikTok, and I think it's gonna be geared towards TikTok now. But I think I'm gonna take 2 minutes every day and just go live and talk and whatever it is. But again, it's so I can build myself up and just even though I know I speak a lot doing the podcast, but it's different when you're trying to engage with much more live audience, even though Second My Mind is live. But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I get you because, when I do my small bites for
Hmm.
my Facebook group, that's live. And it, I mean, over the, I guess, I don't know how long I've been doing it now, definitely probably close to 2 years now, right? Um, I've improved quite a bit.
And yeah, and obviously that was going to be my question to you is how has the improvement been? Have you noticed the improvement from when you first started to now how you're doing your small bites now?
Yeah, definitely a big improvement. I mean, at first I was rambling a lot too,
Yeah.
and that's normal because we're nervous,
Mhm.
and we're like, ah, la 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 la, right? And and now it's more direct. It's to the point. And of course, sometimes I do get off on tangents, but I also know to limit it to a certain amount of time as well, because at first sometimes I would go a little longer and I'm like, oops, right? And it was things like that. And you learn from your mistakes, or people would say, oh, that was too long. I couldn't concentrate on it or something. And you're like, okay, so I have to make it more short and direct and to the point. And someone's like, oh, you forgot your call to action. And I was like, oh, yeah, I keep on forgetting that, And it's like, little things like that. You start remembering, as you practice, you get better at it. And
Yeah.
it's with anything, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's with anything that you it's repetition, of course.
Yes.
And of course we've gone off topic, but we always do that. It's fine. But it all intermingles because we're trying to show you a way where you don't have where you can focus on making it easier for yourself and not have to be
Yeah.
online so much. Like maybe picking up whatever learning how to batch create and all these different things. So it
And
it
yeah. Batch creating is just so easy to do. You just sit down like at the weekend and you just schedule things, like even Facebook posts, you know, um, and even if it's like topics that you're going to talk about. And you can have ChatGPT help you out with that too, which is always, a great asset.
oh no, it definitely
Yeah.
that so the newsletters I'm writing about it deals with podcasting and integrating AI into podcasting because that's something I've done with my podcast. And no, my show is not scripted, and this show isn't scripted. Everything we say, but I do use AI to help me with topics and questions and outlines and but it's a tool. Again, people don't again and that's what the articles are about. It's about being able to use these tools to help you manage time and not burn yourself out,
Yeah.
which is part of being the digital toxicity is being burnt out.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, it's to use it smartly, to use it wisely, right? And you know, my one of the tenets of neuroencoding, which I'm a neuroencoding specialist. One of the tenets is assassinate complexity, because people don't want to learn anything that's complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, if you start teaching something that's really complex, people are going to be like, I'm not doing it, right? So it's really, when something is simple, it's easier for people to digest that, to take it in. And if it's simple, it's like, oh, I could do that, right? And I think AI is something like, even like with your newsletter, you're saying that, in podcasts, to utilize AI for your benefit. And
Hmm.
that's what everything should be. Use it so that it makes your life simpler,
Yeah.
because that's what it's there for.
Yeah. No, well, but you have a lot of people arguing saying that it's dumbing down creators, and
No.
no, because I look at it because I have to be specific with my prompts and what I ask it and what I want from it. So in all, I'm really telling it what to do and how do I want it specifically and how do I. So it's me putting in the details
Yeah.
and AI just spitting out whatever it is that I put in.
Yeah. And I think it's also, how you use it, right? Like a lot of some people would just use AI, spit out something, and then just leave it like that. But it's not about that. It's going in there and also saying, hey, no, that's not exactly what I wanted to say. Can you tweak it so that it sounds more like this? Or can you put in a little more, fire into it or whatever?
So I'm not gonna lie. I use ChatGPT to respond to emails, and but it responds as me.
Yeah.
And if I don't like what it says, or if I need to change something, I'll change it. For the most part, it's on point with how I wanted to respond,
Mm-hmm.
and it, again, and it simplifies things for me because now I don't have to spend 10-15 minutes trying to figure out how I'm going to word this email to
Right.
someone when I could just like insert what they wrote me and get a response from ChatGPT and use that. And it's made it so much simpler.
And that's the way it should be used. That's what I think, because it's there for us to simplify, to make things easier for us so that we can spend more time for ourselves.
Hmm.
And I think when you lose sight of that, that's when the trouble starts. That's when the matrix takes over, right? Kind of. Because we have to remember that at the core, we are with anything. Like, even I remember with photography, when I was doing photography, I started out with film. Like, kids nowadays are going to be, what the hell is film, right? But it was with film. And you had to load the camera with film and take photographs.
Yeah.
And, when AI, not, computers started coming in. They were saying digital photography. People were like, well, people are going to lose the creative edge with because it's not going to be using film, and it's going to be producing things that are going to be automated and things like that. But that's not true, right?
Oh no, you
In
could.
retrospect, it's not true. People became more creative.
Oh yeah, the color grades and enhancing photos with color grades and doing all these, and these are things that I've learned in the past few years. You learning about photography with using my camera and 'cause again, these are skills that I've developed from podcasting.
Yeah,
So wanting to learn these skills and engulfing in it is because I wanted to make it easier for myself to understand
yeah,
what's the importance of um brightness and with the lights and how do you have to have a certain angle or whatever these things are,
yeah,
whatever it is to help to improve. Because if you could imagine going back to where again, like how when you first started doing your small bites, me going back to my original podcast and me starting, the quality isn't the same.
yeah.
the audio, the confidence, all of it is not the same. Now it's completely different. I've been doing it for years now. Now, do I get nervous once in a while? Yeah, of course, everyone does. It's natural.
Hmm.
But I still now I have more confidence and because I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this long enough, and so there's a difference now. There's
Yeah.
a difference from the wise 5 years ago to the wise that is here now doing what I'm doing now.
And there should be, right? Because if not, that means you're just stuck. Sorry, I had to say that. Um, but really, it means that we're not growing. And technology, my belief is that technology should be used so that we can all have more time for ourselves. I mean, that was like even when Thomas Edison created the light bulb, right? That was so that we can have light longer, so that we can become more creative.
Yeah.
And every bit of technology has been created so that our lives can become easier, not to dumb us down. I mean, yeah, we can dumb us down ourselves if we wanted to, but as human beings, that would be kind of like going against what life is, right? If you're dumbing yourself down.
You start evolving and changing and using these tools to your advantage to help
Exactly.
enhance your life in order for you to go and enjoy these vacations and being able to go away and not folk like right now is a perfect opportunity for people to jump in and if you really want are you serious about not working for someone else the digital landscape is it's growing it's giving regular folk like you and me an opportunity to be successful, to
Yes.
build a career and build something with substance to it to help so that we don't have to punch into a 9 to 5.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, a 9 to 5 is great in that it gives you stability.
Yes.
And, but if you have a voice, if you have a mission and you're passionate about it, it really, it really helps to be able to nourish that, to really go with it, because by nourishing that, you nourish your soul. And how your heart feels, how your soul feels is so much different than I know that when I was in corporate America, I felt like I was being crushed every day, because that's what corporate America does to you in a lot of ways. And I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. For some people,
That's what they want. Yeah.
and that's okay. And they can resonate with that, just like, they're different people, right? Different types of people. But I can't, I was never that kind of a person that could be
Yeah.
caged in or, tied down to different things. I think I'm too much of a free spirit in a lot of ways. Um, but that's not a bad thing. But see, this digital world has helped me to realize that it's okay to be me. I
Mhm.
don't have to fit into that mold.
And
Be-
that's the problem with a lot. Well, that's where people get burned out and they get the digital detox is that they look at other content creators and they try to be them and instead of being themselves and it's okay to borrow some elements from other people but for the most part be you and do you and you can and you'll realize that that's what people want
yeah,
in all actuality is to see the real you and be able to relate to you
yeah,
and see that oh man he's just a regular guy like me
yeah,
or Yayoi, she's just like me she struggled through the things that just like me just
yeah,
a regular person so to be able to do what we do and share our stories and again being able to just be ourselves and not pretend to be something that we're not it's just
it's,
it's something I wish everyone could experience, being able to just be yourself.
Yeah, it's liberating, very much liberating. And like I say to people, financially, I'm not as good as I was, but happiness wise, I am very happy now.
And that's what matters. See, and that's what at the end of the day, that's what matters. Is yes, money is good. Yes, to be able
It's
to,
important,
yeah,
yes.
but and it's not the all. It's
No,
not everything and end all be all. It's part of the equation, but yeah, happiness is a major part of it. Like,
yeah,
if you could go through life happy and enjoy everything you have,
yeah,
there's not, like, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
I agree. I agree. And it's really about, what are your priorities? Who is your priority? You know, it's your sanity, but also what's important to you.
And you know what? This is gonna sound kind of selfish, right? But your priority should be you.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not
we
selfish.
no, because everyone talks about, oh yeah, you need to. What's your why? You know what your why should be? You.
Yeah.
I get it. Yes, you want people. Oh, my why is my children, and I get it. I understand that. But now it's hitting me now more now. Even with this conversation, like my why should be me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not selfish for me to want to improve and want to be better, and my why should be pushing myself to be the person that I'm supposed to be,
Yeah,
to fulfill the purpose I'm supposed to fulfill.
yeah,
So it is not selfish for me to want the best for me.
yeah. It's not. It's not at all because that's why we were created, right? I don't want to get religious or anything, but you know, we were put here because we had a mission to accomplish, and by focusing our, why on ourselves, we're accomplishing the mission that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And of course, within that, you have to have empathy, you have to have compassion, you have to have all those things, kindness to others.
Mhm,
But it really starts with you. If you don't have that kindness to yourself, you can't share the true kindness with others.
yeah.
It'll just be a fake kindness. And I think it's something that it, it it's only in recent years that I figured that out myself too. That it's okay to care about yourself because if we're not whole, if we're not in our, if we're not stepping into who we are, you can't help anyone else
Mhm.
anyway.
And that's what kind of been hitting me. Like I've been trying to help others when I should just been helping myself. And then I'm not saying that I was. It's just that if I don't help myself, how am I able to help others? If I'm
Exactly.
not filling up my cup, if I'm not recharging myself, if I'm not taking care of myself,
Yeah.
then how do I expect to be able to help anyone else? Because then again, this is how we burn out. This is how we get the digital toxic.
Yep.
This is all that what we've been discussing is, and it comes down to you taking care of yourself
Yep.
and focusing on you and making things better for you to make things easier for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, they always use that analogy, use the overflow to help others, right?
Yeah.
Fill your cup first and
Hmm.
then use the overflow. And it's the same with that oxygen mask story, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The,
Same thing on the airplane when they say
yeah,
put your mask on first, and then you can help whoever is next to you. Yeah.
yep, yep. Because if you're not breathing, you're not going to help anyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I really believe that it's really when you can nourish yourself is and when you're nourished, you can nourish others. Yeah. And from the heart, not just logically or without care, because when we want to help others, it's from the heart. We want to create that nourishment so that they can feel that they can nourish themselves, right? I don't know. I'm into that word nourishing today. I don't know why.
All right, okay. So what's one or fun activity you believe everyone should try this weekend just to feel a little bit more grounded?
I'd say take 5 minutes, detach from phone, everything, and close your eyes and just breathe in the air. Just concentrate on your breath for just 5 minutes and see where that gets you. I mean, great if you can do it outdoors is better, but
Yeah.
but if you can't, even if it's 5 minutes just with yourself,
Yeah, or
lying in bed, maybe, I don't know.
anywhere you can take
Yeah,
that time to just reflect and just take a few minutes for yourself. Just
yeah.
whatever it is.
And just be grateful that you have that breath and focus on you. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the most important things. It's definitely important because every moment is important. Like every minute is important in life. So those moments that we take for ourselves to recharge ourselves, to rebuild ourselves up, it's key. It's very important,
yeah,
and I'm grateful that I'm able to come in and share these messages with you guys and let y'all know that it's important. Yeah, it's okay for you to care about yourself and take care of you.
yes, definitely.
So,
Starts with,
is there anything you want to say before we leave?
just everything starts with you. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So, well, for me, it's yeah, absolutely. It's definitely important that you focus with you and take care of yourself and make sure that again you're filling up your cup. Just take care of you and everything else fall into place. So from me, Wize,
And Yayoi,
and this is Cognitive Cuisine. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace
hmm,
out.
peace out.